Hello, everybody. My name is Raquel de Hoyos, and I am here. I don't remember what week this is, but it's okay. We're going to make a great recipe today. We've got a little bit of nutrition also. This was a recipe that, if you all have been coming to my classes, you may have remembered from the past. This was one that I created, I think, around Valentine's Day of last year. It has a lot of my favorite flavors. It is dairy-free also, which I know sometimes people have some issues with dairy, so I wanted to make this fun, delicious. It has several components to it, so I've prepared some of those in advance, but I'll walk you through how I did that, and then I will also show you some of the components here that we'll put together, and then I have samples for you guys because it's so delicious. I haven't tried any yet, but if you all remember, if you were here from the last class and got to taste it, hopefully it's one of your favorites too. So it's a chocolate cherry mousse, but it has a couple different components. One of them is the mousse that is made with this ingredient right here. So I use silken tofu. Has anybody used that before?
Yes.
Yes. There's different kinds of tofu. Silken tofu is really great because it's really compact and it is very soft and smooth and creamy, and so it works really well in desserts. So that's what's going to be the base of our mousse. In addition to that, we also are going to add some different flavors to it. One of the things that we're going to add, because it's a chocolate mousse, is chocolate chips. Now, the ones that I have in the recipe, it says it calls for a cup of 62% semi-sweet chocolate chunks. There's a brand that you can sometimes find at H-E-B. It's a Scharfenberger. I did not find that, but any chocolate chip will do. Just get one that's about that percentage. This is semi-sweet and it's 55%, so it has great flavor. So that's what I ended up using. And basically what I do is I just put it in the microwave to melt it. You could also just put it over the stovetop in like a water bath and just let that slowly melt. But basically I put it in the microwave about 30 seconds for about a minute and a half, stirring in between. And this is what you want, right? Some nice delicious melted chocolate. So that's going to help flavor our tofu. And then in addition to that, really, if you've seen or if you tasted a lot of, sorry, I'm looking at the lightning over to my left there. We're going to be okay. Lots of great stuff happening this morning. So if you've ever had like a really decadent chocolate brownie, the thing that helps boost the flavor of that is espresso. I can't do caffeine a lot of times. I wish I could today, but this is one of the secret ingredients. So it's going to be a little bit of espresso powder just dissolved in some water to give that a little more kick. And then we're going to add some additional flavor through vanilla extract and a little bit of sugar, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and just a pinch of salt to kind of balance it all out. So why don't I do that? And then let me do that first. So I'm going to add the tofu. And this is shelf stable, so you can keep it in your pantry. I always like to kind of have a couple of these on hand. They come in a little bit of water, but not too much, so I just kind of squeezed out some of it when I opened it. But you want to make sure you get all of the good tofu. Yes, we're going to use 2 boxes, and they're 10 ounces each.
Is it found in the bakery goods or is it?
This actually I will find in the, like where they have the Asian foods, usually there. Yeah, and since it doesn't have to be refrigerated, it's great. Shelf stable, the word for that is aseptic, I think is what they call that. Okay. Yeah, I'll pass this little box around if you guys want to see, but that's pretty much the brand that they have. You could also use a regular like tofu that comes in more water that's refrigerated, but those tend to be a little more grainier. This has a finer like consistency, so it works really well in smoothies and desserts. I've used it for cheesecakes before. It's delicious and it's very mild, so it kind of picks up the flavor of whatever you put in there. Okay, so I'm going to add the espresso powder. So we're doing 2 teaspoons of powder to 2 tablespoons of water. So let me do that here. And there's different brands that you can get. I really like this one. I've used it in a lot of baking. It's called Via Roma, and it's like $2 a jar. So a little goes a long way. Make yourself an espresso if you wanted to, but I use it a lot in baking. Okay, what did I say, 2 teaspoons?
How do you spell that?
So it is called Via Roma, Viaroma. And then to the 2 teaspoons of the instant espresso, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of just water. Okay, and then I'm just going to give that a little stir. It's almost like instant coffee. I guess if you wanted to, you could try instant coffee, but espresso has a little more kick to it. Okay, so I'll add that in. And then I'm going to also add the vanilla. So we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I've made this before with like an orange liqueur also. That's really delicious if you want to kind of mix it up a little bit. Change it up. And then to give it some more sweetness, you can add sugar. Now this is just regular table sugar. If you could leave out the sugar because the chocolate is sweet, but I think it needs a little. So experiment. This calls for 3 tablespoons. I think that's like the perfect amount. But if you want to, like you're trying to watch your sugar, start with 1, see how you feel about that. And if you're like, that's crazy, Raquel, it's too strong, then add more. Okay, and then a little pinch of salt. Here's my salt. Okay, I think we got everything except the chocolate. So this again was 1 cup of those chocolate chips, just melted in the microwave. So it's nice consistency, smells delicious. Wow, there's quite the light show going on.
Did you substitute the sugar for monk sugar or
Yeah.
stevia?
Oh yeah, for sure. You could do monk fruit or stevia if you prefer. Those tend to be a little bit sweeter, so I would maybe start with a smaller quantity and then just adjust if you need to. But yeah, I haven't tried it without the sugar. But if you had even like a sweeter chocolate chip, that might take care of that. So experiment a little bit. Okay. All right. Like anybody want to lick the bowl? Okay. All right, so we're gonna give this a mix. So bear with me as I bring this together and just blend it a little bit. Going to help it along a little bit because I see some good stuff hanging out here on the top. My blender is feeling like me lately. It's running on not quite 100%. I've had this blender forever, but it's a bit of a workhorse, but I've been using it a lot lately. Okay. Now that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do, I'll try to assemble one like what you guys are going to get. But basically what you'll get is this beautiful creamy, looks just like pudding, mousse. I'm going to just give it a quick little stir here. And it's best when you refrigerate it, right? So you can pour these into your little containers. I did smaller ones. It makes about 6 servings if you were to do just kind of a bigger cup. But I'm going to just pour it in here. Like that. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, that's it. Yeah, pretty easy. So pour it into your containers, set it in the fridge to chill so it sets up like a pudding. And then I will walk you through the other components that I have made in advance, but I'll show you one of the other ones. I really want to do this, yeah. I really want to lick the spatula.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, that's a great recipe. Okay, just gonna set that aside there. Okay, so I'll pass this around too if you guys want to check out the espresso. Okay, so the next thing that I made, chocolate cherry, right? Chocolate cherry mousse. I love those 2 flavors together. So I basically made kind of a cherry compote of sorts. So I basically took, what did I do? 2 cups of frozen cherries that I chopped in smaller pieces. And put into a saucepan with about half a cup of pomegranate juice. great antioxidants, right? I think because we did this one in February, I was like, fantastic, let's add something different. So this has some sugar and some sweetness to it. Also tart, but so the cherries are great too because they're tart, but they kind of balance each other out. And then to that I added a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then, so basically I put that all into a pot, let it come up to a boil, and then turned it down and let it simmer for about, I think, 15 minutes or so, just till it kind of reduces and thickens a little bit. And then in the meantime, what I did, I set aside, it's 1 teaspoon of cornstarch and 1 teaspoon of water, and just dissolved all of that and took the cherry compote off the heat, turned it off, and then added in that slurry of cornstarch so it would thicken up a little bit. So that's kind of in the picture you see there, the delicious kind of chunks of cherry, that's what's gonna go on top. So I did that in advance and it looks a little like this. Where's my spoon? Oh, it's over here. Okay. Too many things going on here. So it turns out this beautiful color and just has, you know, some nice consistency, great flavor. So you can just refrigerate that and you just put a little on top like that, or however much you like. I think kind of the sweet tartness with the creamy chocolate is just such a great balance, and you have that. So that's the second component. And then the third component, so we have something creamy, we have something kind of a little chunky, a little tart and sweet. I wanted something crunchy, right, to balance everything out. So what I did was I basically made like an almond brittle, and this is very easy too. So I will show you how to do that. Let me move some things around here really quick. Okay, so in my bowl, I just use regular sliced almonds, and I believe it's 1.5 cups. So I'm just gonna measure out 1.5 cups of these sliced almonds, and you don't have to toast them because this is actually gonna go into the oven. So you're gonna wanna preheat your oven to about 300 degrees. And one of the other things that I like to do if I'm doing something kind of delicate like this is take the bottom rack and move it up one, just so that the heat, when you put the pan in, isn't directly close to the element. And almonds, as you know, like you can look at them, if you walk away, they'll burn. So we don't want that. So that's 1 cup, and then I'll do 1/2 cup here. But yeah, 300 degrees is what you want to preheat your oven for. And let's see, I'm gonna have just enough, I think. There we go. So 1.5 cups of that. Set that aside here. And then to that, we're going to add a couple of things. We're gonna add 1/4 cup of maple syrup, but I like to add the seasoning first. So just do a pinch of regular ground cinnamon, just to kind of give it some flavor. And then again, another pinch of salt to kind of balance out the sweet. And then 1/4 cup of the maple syrup. This is one of my favorite brands. I think it's, what's it called? Coombs Family Farm. But any maple syrup will do. And let's see. I can barely see. I think that's 1/4 cup. I can't tell. I think that's a little splash more. I have my glasses on my head. At least I remember where my glasses are. That's not the right place for them. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna take this spatula and give this a quick little stir, just so that all the almonds get coated in that great seasoning, the syrup. Don't have to add too much, but the trick is you want to lay this out pretty thin so that when it bakes up, you have this nice layer of brittle. So do that. It smells great. And you take your baking sheet. I have a piece of parchment here, just so it doesn't stick. You could also use those silicone mats for baking. That would work just fine. But you're just gonna pour it all out onto the baking tray. Get all the good stuff. And then, with your spatula, just flatten it out into a nice thin layer. And this is a nice spatula to do that with. Or you could also do it with your hands, just so you can feel. This looks a little thick to me. I would kind of keep flattening it out. But something like that. Super easy. You could do it with different nuts too, if you like pecans or, we don't get hazelnuts here much, do we? Right? They're kind of hard to find. Yeah, I love hazelnuts too. So something like that goes in the oven, bakes for about 30 minutes. I would say set a timer for 15 and then rotate the pan just so it kind of bakes evenly. It will not burn, but it will turn this nice brown color. And that is what I have here. So this is what it'll look like. And it'll just be this great sheet of brittle that you can break up into smaller pieces just like that. And this is kind of what goes on the side here as just like a little garnish, just like that. And if you have leftover, this is also great to go into like a parfait, like with your yogurt. I've done that quite a bit, but it's really good. So it's a little bit more sweetness, some crunch. It's not super salty because we just added a little pinch of that, but that is basically what you get when you do all these things together. So it looks something like this. So yeah, just remember, you just need to refrigerate the mousse itself once that's chilled, and once your compote is chilled, just put those together. So if you were making this for like a party or something, you could do the different components, refrigerate that, and when your party is ready to arrive and you're ready to serve up dessert, just put those components together, and this is what you'll get. And your guests will be super happy, super stoked to try that out. And don't even tell them it's dairy-free, just see what they say. Don't tell them it's tofu, and tell them what they say. Yeah, so my lovely assistant is going to pass out some samples. Yeah, so they're ready to go. They just need to have the little brittle put on them, and that's what's in there. Awesome. Okay, so while we are doing that, any questions on the recipe?
Wonderful.
Does anybody remember this recipe from the last time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
awesome. That's great. Okay, let me put my glasses on because I will need that for this next thing. So we did a series on different textures of food. So I thought I'd take kind of a page from that playbook, that series, Foods We Love. And I did this series, I think, because I was looking at, sometimes it's hard for us. There's foods that we enjoy, but we want to make sure that we get definitely a balance of more nutritious foods. And so what are some of the things that we can do to make foods healthier, but to also get those kind of satisfying flavors and textures that we enjoy? And so I decided to focus this one. This one has a lot of different great textures, but this particular nutrition thing focuses on creamy. So let's see here. Texture is important when it comes to our appetite, and one of the most highly desired textures comes in food or ingredients that have a smooth, thick, or creamy texture. So these foods can show up in both sweet or savory recipes, and they have a fullness in our mouth that satisfies both our brains and our stomachs. And I think that's one of the keys, right? Have you ever eaten something where you kind of have a craving and you get something and it's not quite there, and then you're still kind of left unsatisfied, and that can lead to people sort of overeating and over-consuming calories because they can't quite pinpoint the texture, the thing that they're looking for. So this is why I try to teach people, when you're looking for something, ask yourself, what is it about that you're craving, right? Is it the smell of it? Is it the texture of it? Is it the actual flavor of it? Or you just like a good, bowl of mashed potatoes with butter and, heavy cream? Because I do. So that's one thing. Let's see here. The most common ingredient that's found in these types of food is usually fat, right? Some kind of fat. So think dairy, butter, cheeses, cream. So animal-based fats or saturated fats should be consumed in moderation because they do provide protein, but they may also be high in calories, cholesterol, and sodium, which are all factors that could play a role in obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. So kind of do those in moderation, right? But plant-based fats, such as those found in olive oil, avocados, seeds, and nuts, can just as easily hit the spot when it comes to texture. And they have an added benefit, which is that they have been shown to help lower cholesterol, and some of them may contain omega-3s, which protect our hearts, our brain, and reduce inflammation in our bodies. So yay, plant proteins. And we have one today, which is kind of the star of our mousse, which is the tofu. Other ways to experience the same feeling or satisfaction and fullness from our meals is to experiment with different ingredients that have similar sensations. So if we crave sweet creamy, think of adding nut butters to your oatmeal or yogurts. I used to do that. I would get just kind of like a dairy-free plain or vanilla yogurt and then just add in like a scoop of almond butter and add in like slices of banana and berries. Like that was my favorite thing. And then I kind of got tired of it and I switched to something else. But for a while, that was my favorite thing. If it's salty creamy that you crave, try making sauces and dressings with soaked nuts. You may have heard of like cashew creams, where you take raw cashews and you soak them in water, and then you blend them, and they turn into this delicious cream kind of base that you can add all sorts of flavors and ingredients to. So that's kind of a fun thing to experiment with. Tofu, which we use today, can be blended and seasoned with a variety of spices and enjoyed warm or cold depending on your preference. Okay, so when we're craving something rich, just really decadent, it's also helpful to pause and ask both your body and your mind what's missing. So sometimes it can be fuel or energy, and we need to find nutrient-dense meals that help us meet our daily calories. Other times it could be related to our emotional or mental well-being, and we're reaching for heavy, rich foods to feel grounded or to feel connected and to feel nourished and fulfilled in a way we may be lacking in other personal areas of our life. Have you all ever experienced that, where you're just kind of like in a funk and you're like, I'm craving this, and really it's not even that you're craving that food, it's just that you're just kind of like, I feel like I need something to kind of ground me, right? I've had those moments. I used to talk about, this was when I was much younger, but I would be kind of stressed out with school or work or whatever, and I would go through a weird phase of just like, I wanted something really, really sweet, and then I would kind of chase it with something very salty to kind of balance it out. My palate has changed so much now. I'm more of a savory, salty person, and so when I get kind of stressed, I want something crunchy and salty. So I've been trying to find like vegetables and carrots and celery, things that I really like, and just have like hummus instead, because, you know, got to watch the sodium too. But yeah, think about that next time when you're kind of going through something in your life, right? Or it could just be, you know, just normal stress of day to day. Think about first, like, ask yourself, what is it that I'm really craving? Is it that whatever? And maybe sometimes it is, right? But maybe it's something else where you're like, oh yeah, I didn't stop to think about that. Like, I've had this kind of day and this was going on before that. Like, I need to maybe just drink some water, check in with myself, and then just really ask, like, could I eat an apple and would that help? I always do that too, where I get kind of like confused with sort of what flavor, what thing, whatever, and I'm kind of like searching. You guys have probably done this too. You open the fridge and you just look at it and you close it, and then you open it again and you're like hoping to find something else, right? And it never happens. But it's like I take a step back and I'm like, maybe I should drink some water and then think about this, and then I'll find something. I'm like, oh, I really just wanted a piece of toast, and maybe I was a little dehydrated, right? So I think sometimes we forget and we skip over all of that and we just go for whatever because it's instant gratification, or it kind of hits the spot, and then you're like, no, really, I should have just eaten this because that would have made me feel better. So that is pretty much what we have for today. Does anybody have any questions? I'm still up, right? So has anybody tried it yet? We've got samples still going out.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about like a darker, how would you get a darker chocolate then? Because I really like dark chocolate.
You could just, there's tons of like dark
Just
chocolate
like a
bars.
Kiko or something like that.
Get like a dark chocolate bar or a baking cocoa. You could also use, because there's no, like, that's straight dark chocolate. There's great cocoa powders. Try different ones. I want to say it's Ghirardelli has a brand it comes in a little red can, and it's got almost like this red velvet kind of chocolate color. That's a beautiful one. That would be great. But with those, it's going to be obviously less, or it's going to be more bitter. So you may have to add something else to make it a little sweeter. But does it taste like you guys remembered it from the last time? Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Just because it has all those great components. And since I can't have a lot of caffeine, I love chocolate. This, I think, is not super sweet, but you guys be the judge of that and let me know. I think the different, like the cherries are nice because it's tangy. You could just leave out the pomegranate juice if you didn't want to add that, but I think it adds a little more flavor. But just cherries with a little water and some sugar just to add some flavor would be great. So, okay, well, if you guys don't have any other questions, that's pretty much all that I have for today. I will be back, I think, next week. And I will pick up probably where I didn't do the class last week. So we'll do the roasted cauliflower and kale salad next week.
I like that.
All right. Okay, thanks, ladies.